Hello, little dreamers. I'm Luna. Welcome to Luna Bedtime Story. Tonight, we'll journey into a world of gentle adventures, kind hearts, and peaceful dreams. If you'd like a new bedtime story waiting for you every week, don't forget to subscribe and join our cozy little family. Now, get comfortable, snuggle into your favorite blanket, and let's take 3 slow, deep breaths together. Breathe in and breathe out. Again. Breathe in and breathe out. One last time. Breathe in and breathe out. Let your shoulders relax. Close your eyes. Let's begin our story. The Lantern Firefly, Part 1. The little light that hid. Long before the first rooster welcomed the dawn, before sleepy flowers stretched open to greet the morning, and before the river caught the golden sunlight in its gentle ripples, there was a meadow tucked between an ancient forest and a winding stream. It was not a grand meadow. No kings visited it. No maps marked its name. Travelers often walked past without realizing it existed at all. Yet if someone wandered there on a warm summer evening, they would discover one of the most magical places in the world. Tall grasses swayed like green waves. Tiny bluebells nodded wah, and ever the breeze whispered. Wild strawberries hid beneath leafy blankets. A great willow tree spread its long silver branches over a quiet pond where frogs sang every night. And when darkness arrived, the meadow became a sky filled with stars, not stars above, stars below. Hundreds of tiny fireflies rose from the grass, blinking softly as they floated through the warm night air. Some glowed bright green, others shone with hints of gold. A few sparkled almost blue. Together they danced until the whole meadow shimmered like a living lantern. Among all those cheerful lights lived the smallest firefly anyone could remember. Her name was Lumi. Unlike the others, Lumi never liked flying in the middle of the dancing. She preferred quiet places. She liked watching dew collect on flower petals. She loved listening to crickets practicing their songs. She could spend hours staring at the moon reflected in the pond. Whenever the other young fireflies played games of hide and glow or chased drifting dandelion seeds through the air, Lumi stayed close to the willow tree. She wasn't lonely. She simply felt small. Whenever she tried joining the others, she worried everyone would notice something she noticed every single night. Her light. It was tiny, very tiny. When she glowed beside everyone else, it looked as though someone had lit a little candle beside dozens of bright lanterns. Oh, she would whisper to herself, "I'll just stay over here." She didn't complain. She didn't cry. She simply believed that was how things were. Some fireflies were born to shine brightly. Others were not. One evening the fireflies gathered for the annual moonrise dance. It was everyone's favorite celebration. The moon would rise full and round over the forest, and every firefly would fly together in beautiful swirling patterns. Owls watched from tree branches. Rabbits peeked from bushes. Even the fish beneath the pond surfaced to admire the sparkling sky. Elder Bramble, the oldest firefly in the meadow, floated onto a smooth stone. His wings were slower than they had once been, but his golden light remained warm and steady. "My little stars," he said with a smile. "Tonight we welcome another beautiful summer." Cheers filled the air. Young fireflies buzzed excitedly. The moonrise dance begins soon. Everyone paired together. Everyone, except Lumi. She drifted toward the edge of the meadow where the willow branches touched the water. Nobody meant to leave her out. The others simply flew together so naturally that she quietly slipped away before anyone noticed. She watched from beneath the tree. The dance was beautiful. Hundreds of glowing lights spiraled through the air like ribbons of living gold. Lumi smiled. It looks prettier this way anyway. But deep inside, she wished she had the courage to join them. The next morning, while the meadow rested beneath the sunlight, Elder Bramble found Lumi sitting on a mushroom. "You weren't dancing." Lumi looked down. "I didn't want to get in the way." "The way of what?" "The bright ones." Elder Bramble tilted his head. "There are bright ones?" She blinked. Well, he laughed softly. I've never counted them, Lumi frowned. But they're brighter than me, perhaps. My glow is tiny. Perhaps I wish I shined like everyone else. The old firefly smiled. My dear Lumi. He gently landed beside her. Do you know why fireflies glow? So everyone can see us? Sometimes, so predators stay away. Sometimes, so we can dance. Sometimes, Lumi looked puzzled. What is the real reason? Elder Bramble gazed toward the forest. A light is never given simply to be admired. She waited. It is given to help someone who cannot see. Those words stayed with her long after he flew away. That evening, clouds covered the moon. The forest became darker than usual. Even the crickets seemed quieter. Lumi wandered near the stream where smooth stones lined the water. She liked listening to the gentle splashing. Suddenly, peep, a tiny voice trembled nearby. Lumi turned. Near a cluster of reeds stood the smallest duckling she had ever seen. The duckling looked around nervously. My family? Where are you? Lumi floated closer. Are you lost? The duckling nodded. I was chasing shiny fish. I forgot where mother went. His little beak quivered. The dark is scary. Lumi glanced around. The stream curved through tall grass in every direction. It would be difficult even for grown ducks. I can help. The duckling looked surprised. You can? I think so. She wasn't sure. Her light wasn't very bright. Still, it was all she had. She took a deep breath, then she glowed. A soft green light spread across the reeds. The duckling smiled. I can see. Lumi fluttered ahead. Follow me. Together they walked slowly beside the stream. She searched for feather tracks, tiny footprints, broken reeds, anything. After several minutes, quack! A familiar call echoed downstream. The duckling gasped. Mother! He hurried toward the sound. Soon a large duck rushed through the reeds. There you are! She wrapped her wings around him. I was so worried. I'm sorry. I followed shiny fish. The mother duck looked at Lumi. Did you help him? Lumi nodded shyly. I just showed a little light. The mother duck smiled warmly. It was exactly the light he needed. As the ducks waddled away, something unexpected happened. Lumi noticed the water. Her reflection had changed. Her glow looked brighter. Not much, just a little. She blinked. Huh? She looked again. It faded back to normal. Maybe I imagined it. A few nights later, the wind grew stronger. Leaves tumbled across the meadow. Clouds raced overhead. On an old fence post sat a baby sparrow. She chirped anxiously. I can't find my nest. The wind had blown her farther than she'd ever flown. Every tree looked the same. Every branch seemed unfamiliar. Lumi remembered Elder Bramble's words. A light is given. She fluttered upward. I'll help. The sparrow smiled with relief. You will? Lumi glowed. The little light illuminated nearby branches. They searched one tree, then another, then another. Finally, chirp. Several birds called excitedly. There she is. The tiny sparrow flew into her family's waiting wings. Her parents thanked Lumi over and over, again. Her glow brightened. This time she definitely noticed. The leaves around her shimmered with warm golden green light. What? She spun in circles. My light. It slowly returned to normal. What happened? She had no answer. Days became weeks. Summer settled comfortably over the meadow. Lumi began noticing something strange. Whenever someone needed help, she happened to be nearby. A field mouse searching for his tunnel, a snail trying to cross before the rain, a beetle whose tiny lantern seed had rolled beneath thick grass. Every time, Lumi offered her little glow. Every time, someone smiled. Every time, her own light became brighter than before, only for a while, but brighter. She didn't tell anyone. She wasn't sure it was real. One peaceful evening she visited Elder Bramble. I have a question. I hoped you would. She blinked. You did? I've been waiting. She sat beside him. When I help someone, my light changes. He nodded. I know, you know? He chuckled. It happened to me when I was young. It did, and to my grandmother. And hers before that. Lumi's eyes grew wide. I don't understand. The old firefly looked toward the stars. There are many kinds of brightness. She listened carefully. Some are born shining like lanterns. Some sparkle like jewels. Some flash like lightning. And some, he smiled gently, grow brighter every time they choose kindness. Lumi whispered, "Really? The heart feeds the light." She looked at her tiny glow. "So, I'm not broken?" He laughed kindly. "Oh, little one, you were never broken. You were simply waiting to discover how your light wished to shine." For the first time in her life, Lumi felt something warm bloom inside her. Not pride, not excitement, hope. From that night onward, Lumi stopped hiding beneath the willow. She still loved quiet places. She was still shy. She still spoke softly. But now, whenever she noticed someone uncertain, frightened, or lost, she gently floated closer. "Would you like some light?" Most smiled, some nodded, others simply followed her glowing trail. Word slowly spread through the meadow. "If you're lost, look for the little green lantern." The name made Lumi blush. "I am not a lantern." But everyone smiled. "You are to us." Late one evening, while mist drifted over the stream, a family of hedgehogs arrived from a distant field. They had never visited the meadow before. The paths twisted through thick grass, and the youngest hedgehog began to cry. "I can't see where we're going." Before anyone asked, a tiny green light appeared. Lumi floated quietly ahead. "This way." The family followed her through winding trails, around fallen logs, across smooth stones, and safely into the meadow. When they reached the open clearing, the mother hedgehog smiled. "You've guided us better than the moon." Lumi laughed softly. "I don't think anyone is brighter than the moon." "Tonight," the hedgehog said gently, "you were." As they settled into the meadow, Lumi looked down. Her glow wasn't just brighter anymore. It felt warmer, gentler, like a tiny lantern lit with kindness instead of flame. She didn't know it yet, but the whole forest had begun to notice. Animals whispered about the little firefly whose light always appeared way when someone needed it most. And far beyond the meadow, hidden deep within the oldest part of the forest, something else had noticed as well. A shadow moved beneath the towering pines. An ancient owl opened one wise golden eye. He had watched the stars for many, many years. Now he watched the tiny green light weaving through the darkness. He whispered to himself, "Ah, so the lantern firefly has finally awakened." And though Lumi had no idea, the greatest adventure of her little life was only just beginning. End of Part 1, The Lantern Firefly. Part 2, The Light That Led Everyone Home. The oldest part of the forest was unlike any place Lumi had ever seen. The cheerful meadow slowly gave way to towering pine trees whose branches stretched so high they seemed to hold up the night sky. Thick blankets of moss covered fallen logs. Ferns unfurled like emerald feathers. The air smelled of fresh earth, pine needles, and cool streams hidden beneath smooth stones. Even the sounds were different. The meadow had always been alive with crickets, frogs, and laughing birds. Here, the forest whispered. Leaves rustled softly. Owls called to one another from distant branches. A stream trickled somewhere beyond the ferns. Every now and then a breeze wandered through the trees, carrying the scent of blooming jasmine from somewhere unseen. Lumi had never flown this far from home. She hovered just above the moss, her tiny lantern-like glow painting gentle circles of green across the forest floor. "I wonder why that owl called me the Lantern Firefly," she murmured. She hadn't expected anyone to hear. But a warm voice answered from above, because every forest remembers one. Lumi looked up. Perched upon the broad limb of an ancient oak sat the owl she had seen from afar. His feathers were silver gray, touched with white around his face. His golden eyes shone with kindness rather than sternness, and tiny stars seemed to sparkle within them whenever he blinked. He folded his great wings carefully before gliding down without making the slightest sound. "My name is Orion," he said with a gentle bow. "Let Lumi, I know. You know my name?" The whole forest is beginning to... Lumi immediately wished it weren't true. "Oh dear." Orion chuckled softly. "You blush even when no one can see your cheeks." She lowered her eyes. "I don't like everyone looking at me." "I know. I'd rather they looked at someone brighter. The owl smiled. My little friend, they already are. Lumi looked confused. What do you mean? They're looking at the brightest light in the forest. She instinctively glanced behind herself. I don't see anyone. Orion laughed, a warm, rumbling laugh like wind through old trees. I meant you. Lumi's wings nearly stopped fluttering. Me? But I am. She almost said small. Instead, she simply whispered, little. Orion nodded. The brightest lights are not always the largest. Over the next several evenings, Lumi often visited Orion. She liked listening to his stories. The wise owl seemed to know everything. He knew why the stars changed with the seasons. He knew which flowers only bloomed beneath moonlight. He knew why rivers sang louder after rain. Most importantly, he knew stories. One evening, Lumi asked, have there really been other lantern fireflies? Oh yes, many know. She tilted her head. Then why does everyone remember them? Because they never shone for themselves. The owl gazed toward the stars. They shone whenever another creature had lost hope. Lumi listened quietly. The first lantern firefly lived many generations ago. What happened? A terrible fog covered these woods, so thick that deer became separated from their fawns. Squirrels lost their trees. Foxes wandered in circles. Even the moon disappeared. Lumi imagined the forest wrapped in endless white mist. It must have been frightening. It was. But one tiny firefly refused to hide. What did she do? She simply kept helping one lost traveler after another. She never asked who deserved help. She never expected anything in return. And with every act of kindness, her light became brighter. Lumi smiled. Just like mine. Exactly. The owl nodded. By dawn, her light had become so warm that every creature could find the path home. Lumi's little heart fluttered. Did everyone celebrate her? Orion smiled knowingly. She disappeared before anyone could. Why? Because helping others was never about becoming famous. Lumi thought about that all the way home. She liked that story very much. Summer slowly began to lean toward autumn. The evenings grew cooler. Golden leaves drifted lazily from the tallest trees. The moon climbed higher each night. One peaceful evening, the meadow prepared for its annual harvest gathering. Animals from every corner of the forest came together. Mice carried tiny berries. Beavers floated bundles of sweet reeds down the river. Rabbits gathered clover blossoms. Bluebirds decorated the willow with colorful feathers. Even the frogs polished smooth stones until they shone beside the pond. The celebration always began after sunset. Everyone brought food. Everyone shared stories. Everyone laughed. Lumi loved watching from beneath the willow. This year, however, something different happened. As families arrived, many smiled toward her. There she is, the little lantern. Our children still remember how you helped us. Our nest would never have been found without you. Our tunnel too. Our duckling still talks about you. Lumi hid behind a cattail. Oh dear, she whispered. They all remember. Elder Bramble floated beside her. They remember because kindness leaves footprints. I don't want attention. I know. But gratitude has a habit of finding us. As twilight deepened, Elder Bramble welcomed everyone. My dear friends, what a wonderful season it has been. Cheers echoed across the meadow. Just then, a cool wind swept through the grasses. The willow branches trembled. The pond rippled. The breeze became stronger. Clouds slowly drifted across the moon. One by one, the stars disappeared. Animals glanced upward. Looks like rain. Maybe just clouds. It'll pass. But it didn't. The clouds became thicker, darker. Soon the entire forest rested beneath a blanket of shadow. No moon, no stars, no silver light, only darkness. The kind that made every familiar path seem strange. The kind that made even brave hearts pause. Far away, thunder rolled softly. Not frightening, just distant enough to promise a storm. Families decided it was time to head home. Let's leave before the rain. One by one, they started along the forest paths. But without moonlight, the familiar trails disappeared. The hedgehogs wandered toward the river instead of their burrow. The rabbits nearly entered the fox's hillside. Young birds fluttered into unfamiliar trees. Tiny field mice squeaked nervously. I can't find our tunnel. Where's the oak tree? I thought home was this way. Confusion spread gently through the forest. Not panic, just uncertainty. Lumi watched everyone searching. She remembered the frightened duckling, the sparrow, the snail, the beetle, one family at a time. She had helped them. Now, everyone seemed lost. She looked around. Hundreds of fireflies hovered nearby. Their lights blinked beautifully, but scattered lights were difficult to follow. No one knew which direction to go. Lumi swallowed nervously. What should I do? Elder Bramble looked at her kindly. What does your heart say? It says, I should help. He smiled. Then listen. Lumi flew upward, higher than she had ever flown before, past the willow, past the tallest grasses, past the dancing dragonflies. She climbed until she floated above the meadow itself. Every creature looked like tiny moving shadows below. She took one deep breath, then another. I'm only one little firefly. She closed her eyes. I hope I'm enough. She thought about every smile she had seen, every thankful hug, every relieved sigh, every creature that had found home because of a tiny light. She remembered the duckling, the sparrow, the hedgehogs, the mice, the beetle, the snail. One by one they filled her heart. Something warm began glowing inside her. Not around her, inside. Her little lantern flickered, then brightened, brighter, brighter still. Golden green light spread through her tiny wings. The light shimmered across every leaf, across the pond, across the river, across every path winding through the forest. Animals looked upward. Someone whispered, Lumi. Her glow continued growing. It wasn't harsh. It wasn't blinding. It was soft, warm, like every sunrise that had ever greeted the meadow, like every candle lit beside a loved one, like every welcoming window on a cold evening. The forest itself seemed to breathe easier. Orion watched from the highest oak. There it is, he whispered, the lantern light. Below him, Elder Bramble smiled proudly. I always knew. Lumi hovered quietly above the meadow. She didn't tell anyone where to go. She simply shone. The paths themselves became visible. Smooth stones reflected her light. Tree trunks cast gentle shadows that revealed familiar trails. The winding river sparkled like a silver ribbon leading home. Families looked around in amazement. I know this path. Our burrow is just beyond those ferns. The willow is over there. The nest is that way, one after another. Every family found the road home. The rabbits hopped away happily. The hedgehogs waddled toward their hill. The birds disappeared into safe branches. Even the tiniest mouse found the entrance to his tunnel. Nobody hurried, nobody pushed. There was enough light for everyone. Lumi remained in the sky until the very last traveler disappeared safely into the forest. Only then did her glow slowly soften once more. She drifted gently back toward the willow, feeling very sleepy, very peaceful. The first raindrops finally arrived, soft, gentle. They tapped the leaves like tiny drums. Everyone gathered beneath the willow tree. Warm laughter filled the air. Children whispered excitedly, Did you see? She lit the whole forest. It was beautiful. Lumi quietly tried to hide behind Elder Bramble. Unfortunately, everyone noticed. The duckling hurried over first. You found me before. Then came the sparrow. You found my nest. The hedgehog smiled. You found our path. The beetle nodded. You found my lantern seed. Soon dozens of grateful friends surrounded her. Lumi looked down shyly. I only did what anyone would. Orion gently shook his head. No, you did what your heart asked. The rain ended before midnight. Clouds drifted away. The stars returned one by one. They sparkled brightly above the meadow. Lumi gazed upward. They're beautiful. Orion nodded. They always have been. But tonight, they're shining with a little competition. Lumi giggled. I could never outshine the stars. No, you don't. You remind everyone that stars can live close enough to help. As autumn slowly turned toward winter, a wonderful tradition began. Whenever anyone new visited the meadow, Someone always said if you ever lose your way, don't be afraid, somewhere nearby there's a little lantern looking for you. Children loved hearing that. They often searched for tiny green lights while walking with their parents. Sometimes they found Lumi. Sometimes they simply found another creature helping someone else, because kindness, they discovered, had a wonderful habit. It spread. The duckling who had once been rescued later guided a lost turtle back to the stream. The sparrow showed young birds where the safest branches grew. The hedgehogs helped sleepy frogs reach the pond before winter. The rabbits carried berries to elderly mice. The mice gathered seeds for birds after storms. Soon the entire meadow seemed brighter. Not because there were more fireflies, because there were more helping hearts. Years passed. The seasons painted the forest again and again. Spring covered it with blossoms. Summer filled it with laughter. Autumn dressed it in gold. Winter tucked everything beneath sparkling snow. Lumi grew older. She remained quiet. She remained gentle. She never became the loudest firefly. She never wanted to. Whenever someone thanked her, she simply smiled. I'm happy you found your way. Children who had once followed her light grew into parents who told stories of the tiny lantern firefly. Grandparents smiled wesh whenever they spoke her name. Even travelers passing through the forest noticed something special, no matter how confusing the paths became. Someone always seemed ready to help. It became impossible to say where Lumi's light ended and everyone else's began. Perhaps that was the greatest magic of all. One warm summer evening, many years later, a very small firefly sat alone beneath the willow tree. She watched hundreds of brighter fireflies dancing overhead. She sighed. My light is so tiny. An older firefly floated gently beside her. Her glow was warm and comforting, like a lantern on a quiet porch. What troubles you? The little one whispered. I don't shine like everyone else. The older firefly smiled knowingly. I once thought exactly the same. Really? Oh yes. But I learned something wonderful. What? The older firefly leaned close enough for both their lights to mingle. A light is never given simply to be admired. The little firefly listened carefully. It is given to help someone who cannot see. The young firefly looked thoughtfully at her tiny glow. Far away, someone called for help. A baby rabbit had wandered from the path. The little firefly hesitated. Then she fluttered toward the sound. I'll help. The older firefly watched her disappear into the grasses. She smiled to herself. Some lessons never grew old, neither did kindness. Above them, thousands of stars shimmered peacefully across the velvet night. Below them, a tiny new light began leading another traveler safely home. And somewhere in the quiet forest, the wind carried a secret that every tree already knew. The brightest lights are not the ones that shine the farthest. They are the ones that help others find their way. The end.